Hello, I'm Katie Wilson and you're watching Context. US President Donald Trump expressed hope on Sunday that gridlock talks for a ceasefire and hostage deal in Gaza could see a breakthrough within a week. However, Palestinian officials have claimed Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is deliberately dragging out the negotiations. One senior official told the BBC that Israel had bought time during Netanyahu's recent visit to Washington and deliberately stalled the process by sending a delegation to Doha with no real authority to make decisions on key points of contention. They include the withdrawal of Israeli troops and humanitarian aid distribution. However, before he left the US on Thursday, Netanyahu maintained a positive tone, saying he hoped to complete an agreement in a few days. He said the proposed deal would see Hamas release half of the 20 living hostages it is still holding and just over half of the 30 dead hostages, during a truce lasting 60 days. Netanyahu has insisted the war cannot end until Hamas no longer has military or civil governance capabilities and Gaza can no longer pose a threat to Israel. Well, joining us now to unpack all of this is political analyst Enrique Casero. Thank you for being with us. Well, Trump has expressed hope that we'd see a breakthrough within a week. How hopeful are you that this will happen?
Thank you, Katie, for having me, first and foremost. And what I can say about whatever Trump wants to reach and whatever the agreement will be on this issue, I think on top of my head is this is not going to over till Israel says it's over. So it's going to be tough because there is always new or a next motivation in order to keep on living or keep on the conflict on track. So we are living in sort of hope after hope after hope in order to reach a ceasefire that never comes. And at some point, we don't see any sort of negotiation, far from an agreement. So I don't see right now, or I want to be prudent right now in order to reach an immediate agreement for the Gaza conflict.
Is it fair to say in that case that Israel is in the stronger negotiating position?
Israel is in a very, very strong negotiating position. We already we just learned about this no conflict zone that they want to settle in Rafah. We are just watching how the Israel government is taking all the steps in order to not lose the feed or not lose the thread in order to reach our dominance over the conflict. So yeah, Israel right now I think is having the main voice here, just because we don't know the other side. We can say the Palestinians on the other side, but it's more a puppet than a government. We don't know what's going on with Hamas. There is no. We can't see a clear leadership on Hamas. We're prone to think that most of Hamas right now are just separated cells, which is dangerous itself. I mean, having not connected cells could lead into a more asymmetric conflict that we already have. So if there is a leadership on this conflict, or there is some sort of predominance on this conflict, just because all the orders are verticalized, or without a doubt Israel.
And what about the 12-day war between Israel and Iran? To what extent are we still feeling the impact of that?
More than 12-day war, we've just seen sort of attack of rebuttal sort of conflict. Iran right now is having no presence on is having no presence on the news, is having no presence on the attacks, is having no presence on any sort of negotiations. It's sort like it seems like Iran is thing of the past. I don't believe that in the raw thing that I just put it. I think Iran can do or can take place or can make an appearance in the conflict anytime. They only have to get together if they want to keep on fighting. We don't have to discard that. But those 12 days of war today reminds me more than any sort of previous conflict in order to attack and rebuttal.
So you say that this war will end when Israel is ready to end this war. What do you think? Do you think Netanyahu is ready for this war to end?
I don't think what I can say is most important thing for Netanyahu right now is victory, not the conflict itself. He wants to be the unquestionable winner of this conflict, of this war, which we have to remember that was started on the October 7th terrorist attacks. So for Netanyahu, this is his way to get through history, because as much as we can remember, the 6-day war, the Yom Kippur War, all the conflicts that Israel has been involved for this more almost for Israel was born in 48. So along these years, there is a lot of heroes, and there are a lot of heroes. There are a lot of fathers of the country, and I think, on some sort, Netanyahu wants to be one of them. So for Netanyahu, the conflict can be extended the necessary as long as he needed in order to be victorious and become sort of a hero, sort of a father of the country.
And how realistic do you think that is, given Netanyahu's popularity within Israel? Because it's shifting, isn't it?
It's shifting. It's true, it's shifting. But at the same time, I think only 21%, if I remember the last poll, only 25% of the Israel population thinks that there is a solution, a peaceful solution with Hamas. So he's dealing with these two perceptions, if you want to call it that way. One of them is, okay, Netanyahu is not so popular, who's not, and the other one is, okay, Hamas is a permanent threat for the very existence of the very being of the state of Israel. So as long the threat, as long the fear to Hamas will keeps on being a serious issue for the Israeli people, Netanyahu got lots of excuses for continuing this war.
Netanyahu is facing another crisis internally, with the ultra-Orthodox party resigning from the government. Could this have an impact on peace negotiations?
I really don't think so. I think what happened with the split of the government is a long time problem, a long time issue for the conscription of the ultra-Orthodox in the Israeli army. It's not new. It has been on the table for 4 or 5 years, if I'm right. Itamar Ben Gavir and Bezalel Smotrich, who are ultra conservatives, or keep on saying the war has to have they have to keep the boots on the field, and the war has to continue. But the main core, the majority of the government is going to do whatever Netanyahu says is going to happen. So I don't think this is a question about the war. I don't think this is a question about negotiations. It's not a question about peace. It's just a question about how ultra-Orthodox are, the role of ultra-Orthodox in Israel are playing with, or outside of the army. So I see this as separate, completely separate issues.
How concerned are you that the Israeli government could collapse? It's not impossible, is it?
It's not impossible, but probably, I don't know, 15, 17% in probability. I don't see, as I said, this is not a question of, it's a question of the government itself. I mean, it's a new problem for Netanyahu in trying to keep the government together, trying to keep sort of united government, right? But I really don't think that the alt-right, the ultra-Orthodox right in Israel wants to put on any sort of degree of risk in the conflict that we're living right now in the Gaza war. So as I said before, one thing is the disagreement, whatever the disagreement is with the conscription, and the other is the conflict. Can the government fall? Yeah, of course. As I said, 15 to 17% of probability, but they know for sure that making the government fall, or leaving the government, or trying to make the government fall, is just gonna be sort of a really, really weaken. I don't think they want to weaken the government in that way. I don't really think.
So getting back to the potential for a peace agreement, could you talk me through what both sides are demanding in order to reach that agreement?
I think that here we are sort of pollution in some way, because there is whatever Israel wants, and Israel wants to, Netanyahu wants to give an end to Hamas, and that's it. As sort of, okay, and the only thing that I want is Hamas to disappear and being victorious, as I said. But the international community, the international, the UN, and sort of the countries that they want to reach an agreement and take their part on that peace agreement, it's mainly the two-state solution. But again, it happened in 1947, it happened in 1963, and if I remember right, in 2004, several times the two-state solution has been brought up, and till now, the very Palestinians didn't want that solution as a viable solution for peace. So my point here is this is going to be the fifth time that the two-state solution is going to be brought on the table for negotiations, and I'm not quite sure the Palestinians once again that solution as a viable one. As far as I understand, and historically I understand, Palestinians want the whole land, not on a split in order to build a country. They got that opportunity several times now, and I don't see how this time is going to be different.
And what do we know about the humanitarian situation in Gaza at the moment?
Sort of. We saw what happened yesterday with those children trying to reach water, and as the Israeli government said, it was sort of an error. They were attacked and they were killed. And I mean, all Gaza is a place it's a dangerous place, and it's not gonna be easy. Not even for the humanitarian. So it's a war. It's a very raw war, if I may say. And humanitarian help, I'm sure they're doing whatever they want, whatever they can. But there is no place, there is no zone, there is no area in Gaza without a high risk of being attacked or being under danger.
Yes, so as you mentioned, 10 people were killed in an Israeli airstrike while waiting to fill water containers in Gaza on Sunday, and the Israeli military admitted that this was an error. What do you think this signals to us about how ready both parties are for peace and for a ceasefire?
This is one of those moments in war that, for me, is not gonna mark any inflection point on the conflict. This happened before. It's not the first time. It's not the second time. Probably it's not the third time. And all the previous times that did happen didn't change anything. So whatever happened yesterday, this 10 people killed on trying to refill for water, is not gonna be for me, it's not gonna be an inflection point for an agreement. Those agreements are not being negotiated there. They are negotiating right now, or the approaches are negotiated right now by proxies. And as soon as we got news from any of the parts or some of the proxies, we will know for sure. But yesterday's was just another piece in another chapter, another episode in the war, and I don't give whatever happened yesterday the character or the meaning of an inflection point in the conflict.
Now let's turn our attention to Washington, as Trump seems to have turned his attention to the war in Ukraine. Do you think the Middle East is still at the forefront of Trump's mind?
Could be, could be not. I mean, we know Donald Trump, and we know that Donald Trump is jumping from issue to issue with extremely agility, if you want to call it that. If he says, I know that Netanyahu, and we all know that Netanyahu and Trump, they appear to be really, really close, and I think Trump can do something, but what I know for sure is if the parts reach an agreement in order to this 60-day ceasefire they are talking about, Trump is gonna jump and say, okay, this was my thing. So I believe that Gaza war is in the scope of Donald Trump. Yes, I believe it, but I think we're going to see, again, some sort of an opportunistic approach than a real negotiating one. And I don't discard at all that one of the proxies is American, but not as I don't feel Donald Trump's involvement in this.
So you described President Trump as opportunistic, and I think it's fair to say that Trump is quite an unpredictable president. To what extent do you trust that Trump will be able to follow through on a peace agreement and get that over the line?
When I said opportunistic, I was more than if something suddenly happens, he's going to be there, right? As I said, I really believe that some of the negotiators and some of the proxies are American, and they're not there by chance. But I don't think, or I don't see lots of pressure from Donald Trump in order to reach an agreement, in order to reach a ceasefire. We've seen this in the Ukraine. We've seen this with Vladimir Putin during the last weeks, saying about Putin, I respect the guy, but he's driving me nuts. So, which means that at some point he's lose control with Vladimir Putin, or not control, because I don't think Vladimir Putin is something you can control, but influence over Vladimir Putin. He does. I think Trump doesn't want to break the ties and trying to lose hands with Vladimir Putin, as much as he doesn't want to do it with Netanyahu, who's is closer to Donald Trump. But I don't see an actual involvement. Probably, as I said, some of the negotiators are American, and all of them are just having Donald Trump very, very sharply informed about whatever is going to happen on these approaches. But if there is no solution, if there is no sort of hope at the end of the negotiations, I don't think Donald Trump is going to get out and say, okay, I got this, or we're close to an agreement. I don't see that if there is not certainty in order to reach an agreement.
It's been really great to have you on the programme. Thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you, Katie.
Well, that brings this edition of Context to a close. Stay tuned to A News for all of the latest developments on the Middle East and beyond. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.